Welcome to another episode of the On the Pitch podcast with Bridger Press. This is brought to you by Daily Culture Kombucha, LP Digital, CrooksImage.com, and Gray Bridge Woodworks. Make sure to give them a follow on all the links below. If you have a moment, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for new episodes coming out every week. Now, let's get to the podcast. Hey, welcome back to the On the Pitch podcast with my guest, Luke Bergrud. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. We're going to talk all about Premier League Week 25 results right now. We'll talk about our predictions for the games tomorrow, but we'll talk about the games from yesterday and today and kind of what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like, and how the Premier League is shaping up. So first things first, let's talk about the game from yesterday. Leeds 3, Nottingham Forest 1. Luke, what do you have to say about this game?
So going back 2 weeks when we started our little podcast over the United and how they've been in good form, just kind of talking about how well the surge for West Ham and Leeds has been compared to Forest. After Forest let go of Espirito Santos and hired Sean Dyche, they've been struggling like a lot. So good for Leeds. They're undefeated when they play at home at night under Farke. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin in really good form, scoring 2 goals again. They're sneaky, man. They're sneaky. I think they have the potential to stay up, and they've been staying in games that they probably shouldn't be and winning the games that are very close. So,
yeah. Whenever I look at this, they're both 16 and 17 in the table right now. And when we talked, a couple weeks ago, we kind of made our predictions about who we think are going to go down. I put Leeds getting that last spot above Burnley and Wolves, and you put Forest above Burnley and Wolves as well. We both kind of admitted that Burnley and Wolves are most likely going to be going down because they look like the 2 worst teams in the league right now. And it's just not looking good for them. With this result, now it puts Leeds on 29 points. Nottingham Forest is still sitting at 26 points, 3 points above West Ham, who we're going to talk about here in a little bit, who also got a win today. So, really, I mean, it's got to be good, because Leeds United obviously has, Anderson is there.
Aronson. Yep.
Yeah, Brendan Aronson is still there. So I said Anderson. Aronson is still there. I feel like this year has kind of been a little bit more of a breakout year in the Prem because the last time they were in it, they didn't look too good.
No.
I think they sent him out on loan to Union Berlin whenever they were in the championship, and now that he's back, he looks like a completely different player. I mean, not different. He's still that high press, basically can run 1,000,000 miles a minute for 80 minutes kind of guy. How because you're more of a Premier League guy, how much has he really changed from 2 years ago when they first went in compared to now?
I think, coming from both of our experiences as players and coaches, I think a lot comes from confidence, not only in the system and the style, but also in the coach and the fans, right? When flashback to the last game Ruben Amorim was in charge was against Leeds and Aronson scoring a goal in that game, you could see, like we said, his style hasn't changed, but the confidence in the way that he makes his decisions, the way that he puts away finishes, the way that he's attacking, right? It seems to really have flourished under Daniel Farke, their new coach this year. And for one thing I appreciate with them, they're not always struggling for results, right? And I think that gets a lot into a bottom tier team where they're just fighting and scrapping for points. They've been in a lot of very tight games. They've drawn Liverpool, they've drawn United. They've been very, very competitive almost the whole year. They've just dropped quite a few games they probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, I saw something on that Leeds is like one of the best teams right now in the Premier League at home at night.
Yep.
I think they're on some kind of crazy
I think I saw it was 7
win
games
streak
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was I think they're on. Oh, right here. I've got it right here. Leeds boasts an incredible record at Ellen Road during the night matches, recently extending their unbeaten streak to 22 games under the lights, known for intense, high-tempo performances. So
that's awesome.
Anytime, if you're going to go play Leeds, the last thing you want to do is play them at their place at night. So they're keeping that win streak going. So just kind of moving on to the next one here. This one's a big one, obviously, for you.
Oh, yeah.
Manchester United gets the win against Tottenham Hotspurs 2-0 with goals from Mbeumo and Fernandez. And then, of course, Tottenham did go down a man in the 29th minute. How much did that red card actually affect the outcome of the game?
the game was beyond back and forth the first 20 plus minutes. I think it's a totally different outcome. It's a totally different style of play. Spurs did really well pressing, especially with 10 men. They took their chances and they had opportunities off set pieces. But when you lose your captain and your center back in Christian Romero, it really, really changes how you look and set up as a tactical formation. So
Yeah.
I feel for Thomas Frank. I really appreciate his coaching. I think he's still a great coach, but
Hmm.
Spurs just put themselves in these situations.
Yeah. I mean,
That's it.
yeah.
What were you gonna say? Yeah.
Do you think, I mean, with where they are at in the table right now, I mean,
Yeah.
Tottenham currently sitting at 14th,
Yeah.
Leeds getting wins, West Ham winning games. Do Tottenham
Do you
make a
think that's a
decision here?
Oh, agreed. I think they do. Let me do you have FOTMOB pulled up? I'm interested to see who their next game is.
Yeah, I've got them right here. So if it fixtures,
Yeah.
they play Newcastle at home
Okay.
next. So I
I
mean,
think it's within the next 2 games. I think if you can't win at home, Newcastle's a strong team. They're top 10 in the
mhm.
Prem right now, but I
Well,
think they're going
their
to
next two games are Newcastle at home and then Arsenal at home.
Oh yeah, North London Derby. That's a point that I wanted to make too. With Christian Romero, this is his second red card on the year. He is
Hmm.
facing a 4-match ban now, which includes the North London Derby. So you're
Wow.
missing your captain and your center back, and probably if they don't get a result against Newcastle, probably Thomas Frank's job on the line.
Yeah.
So
That's wild because it's so weird seeing Tottenham so
mm.
low in the table. Because when you and I were growing up, it was always
Oh yeah.
Tottenham. Well, they were pushing for that fourth. Now, granted, they had like Luka Modric and Gareth Bale during those times, and then
Robbie
even when
Keane.
those even when those guys
Yep.
left, they were still like a top four team.
Competitive. Okay.
Yeah, they were
And
competitive. They were still in there. I mean, maybe not top four, but they were at least always in the top half. Always at least finishing seventh or
fighting for
sixth.
Europe. Yeah.
Yep,
No,
getting in
it's not like
Europa
they're not
League.
spending they're spending money. I mean, they've brought in big tickets like Matthijs Tell from the
Hmm.
Bundesliga, Kulu Mwani again from Frankfurt, I believe.
Yeah,
Conor Gallagher, they just brought it. Xabi Simons. I mean, they spend money. Vicario was a big ticket item. I mean, it's one of those things where as a United fan, we've shelled a lot of money in the past decade plus on
hmm,
talent that has not always developed into what we expect. But it seems it's such a disconnect for Spurs. They never seem to really mesh well together. I don't know if it's too much money being spent, the overflow of coaching or what, but it never seems to connect because
yeah.
they have all the talent in the world. I love Conor Gallagher. I really rate Xabi Simons really high too, and they have nines, but they always seem to scrap at the end of the games. So
Yeah. Well, with Man United now, that's 4 wins in a row under
yep.
Michael Carrick, with
Mm-hmm.
one more allowing that kid to finally get
United
his
strand,
haircut.
man.
I feel like the entire internet is just like they don't even care that Man United's winning games. They just
No,
want this guy
just
to cut his
haircut, man.
hair. Like they just want to see this guy shave his head because his hair is terrible.
It's
He
terrible.
is one of the
It's
ugliest
terrible.
dudes. I'll have to pull him up on here when we're looking at this for people to see. But he is just one
That's
ugly
bad.
dude. And there was also he posed with Michael Carrick
Michael Carrick.
after
Yeah.
this last game. So everyone I feel like is in on it.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's really wanting this
And
win.
everybody knows.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to see the shift at Old Trafford, not only with Carrick and the players on the field, but even United Strand came to a game at Old Trafford a few months ago. He was like physically attacked because of how poor we were performing. People were physically trying to assault him because he could be a pure United fan or he could be doing this for publicity, right?
Yeah.
Um, they were physically wanting to like hurt him because of the bad publicity this was bringing because we couldn't pull together results.
Yeah.
Flash forward to February, and now he's taking pictures with the gaffer, right?
Yeah.
So today with United, this was not the most comfortable or the most confident team I've seen in the last few weeks, but quality teams in the Prem, they still get results, no matter the style of play, the intensity, no matter what the game plan is supposed to be. And
Yeah.
that's what I saw out of today. And Buemo, great finish off a set piece. And then Bruno Fernandez, the ball across the box. He just dinks it, redirects it with his shin. Quality finish, right?
Yeah.
Good teams get it done, even when it does not look pretty. And that's a
Yeah.
shift that I haven't seen in a very long time.
Yep. And that sits Man United currently at 4th with 44 points. And then we talked about Tottenham being in 14th. So they're like Man United's only 3 points away from being second in the league right now.
Yeah.
So they're 1 win away from potentially somebody dropping or, them moving up because of their results. So we're going to move on now to AFC Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa, unfortunately, dropping points with a 1-1 draw against Bournemouth. Aston Villa still currently in the top four, sitting at third with 47 points, tied with Manchester City, and then Bournemouth is currently on 11th with 34 points. 1-1 draw. Was there really a lot to talk about with this one, or was it just an overall good game, or did Villa kind of drop points here?
Villa's interesting to me. If we take it back, I always take it back to United. When we played Aston Villa, it was a game where we dominated, and they're a quality team. A lot of creative talent with Morgan Rogers, one of the best nines, and Ollie Watkins right on the prem. I think anytime at this point Villa dropping points, it's got to be a big deal, especially with how they're sitting in the table. There's no room for error for a team that has performed so well the last 2 years. In a situation where now it's a 3-point span between us and Villa.
Yeah.
I think they're sitting at 46 and we're sitting at 44, so 2-point gap.
Currently looking at it's 47 to 44, so
47.
3 points.
Okay,
ahead.
So 3 points, a game ahead. Yeah, so I'd say anytime at this point, Villa's really in a tough situation. They've been playing great football, but anytime you drop to Bournemouth in a situation like this, yeah, you need to pull away the 3.
Yeah, and I do know that, like Aston Villa is not very deep. They've got a lot of injury issues that they're dealing with right now.
John McGinn just went down last 2 weeks, so yeah.
Yeah, they're one of those where they're struggling with injuries.
I will say I want to shout out Bournemouth just a little bit. It is insane, and I think I said this in the United podcast. It's insane for how consistent they've been. Great coach in Areola, but bringing in a whole new back line, a new keeper, losing all the players that they did, and they're still in 11th, but in a better top half of the Prem. I think it's wildly impressive. So I got to give them a little bit of credit. They're a pain to play against. So good on them because they lost a lot.
Yep. Moving on now, Arsenal versus Sunderland. Arsenal gets a 3-0 win, that putting them still top of the table with 56 points, and then Sunderland actually currently at 9th with 36 points, 1 point away from Everton, who's sitting at 8th. So Arsenal gets it done against Sunderland. Sunderland's had a good year so far. I mean, they're performing way above, I feel like, that everybody else thought they would. But Arsenal, again, getting the win.
Commanding.
And I don't know if any of these were set pieces. Were these set piece goals? I don't know.
No, so from what I saw, run a play.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't able to check in the whole game, but just from what I've seen and then the highlights, commanding and controlled. I like to think about Gyökeres as really kind of finding his form, and Arteta kind of being able to build him in to his ability, right? He's not great when it comes to certain situations of playing over. He enjoys playing over the top. He's a strong, burly center back, right? Or striker, trying to use his size and then his speed to beat players. But obviously, he's had a tough start, just like Šeško has to United, of getting into a league that's a lot more physical, a lot faster.
Yeah,
but I think
definitely not the Portuguese league here.
No, it's not. It's not playing for Sporting Lisbon anymore. But good on him. He's been in better form, scoring 2 today, and then kind of finding his own rhythm, because now he's with a healthy Gabriel Jesus, he's having a share time, right? Coming off the bench, and Šeško has been doing the same thing with Cunha and Mbeumo, buying into their role and being effective when they're called upon. So, no, it's a good, commanding, controlled, strong team. Biggest thing for Arsenal going down the stretch is how many competitions they're still in, right?
Yeah, we talked about that, last podcast with where it's like, do you almost, kind of give up the Champions League just because you would rather have because we were talking about, like, having a Premier League is almost more important than having a Champions League right now, even though they've never won a Champions League. The Premier League almost feels more important just because it's been so long since they've won one and they've been so close. Whereas Champions League, they've really, besides the Thierry Henry year when they made it to the final, they really haven't been the Champions League potential winning team. Whereas Premier League, they've been just so close, and it's been tough to watch them lose it.
Arteta needs a trophy. At this point, it doesn't
besides
matter.
An FA Cup, besides
it's got to be a Champions League or a Prem. It's got to be one of the two, because with all the money they've spent and all the trust they put in him, there has to be some sort of reciprocation and silverware. So
I'm gonna viewers here. Sorry, I had to take a quick break there, guys. I have some dogs here who want to play and not be quiet. So, but moving on from the Arsenal game, I mean, obviously just a dominant performance from them, staying on top of the league. They're pushing for the Premier League. We'll see if they do well in the Champions League, but I think their main focus is going to be that Premier League title because it's been so long since they've won one. So Next game, we have Burnley and West Ham. Both teams are in the relegation spots. Burnley being that 19th spot with 15 points, and West Ham 18th with 23 points, only 3 points away from Nottingham Forest, who's sitting at 17th. Now, I think this was probably the best result West Ham could get coming into this game. You know, getting a 2-0 win away from home, getting 3 points away from home, basically a 6-pointer because Burnley's also trying to get out of the relegation zone and West Ham as well. So this is basically one of those 6-point games, and West Ham looked like the better team. From the highlights that I saw, they looked like the better team.
They're a fun team to watch, man. And I really rate Espirito Santos really high as a manager. And I think it was unfortunate the way that the whole situation went down at Forest with the owner. But I think he fell into the lap of probably a team that needed a sense of stability more than anybody. I really enjoy watching them play from their outside backs. Malik Diouf and Wan-Bissaka, I think, work great in wing back roles. Crescencio Somerville's been in really good form. He had another finish today. I enjoy Jared Bowen. If you could take a modern day premier footballer and bring him back to like the 2010s, Jared Bowen fit great into those situations. I enjoy watching him play. He actually finally has help around him now.
Yeah.
And like I said 2 weeks ago, I really feel as though they'll be able to skate out. And funny enough, I think Espirito Santos will be finishing and forcing the team he was just managing to be relegated next year. So
I don't hate Forest. I really don't. No. I like them. I hate their owner. I hate their owner. He's Greek and he's just like he's so overbearing. He gets involved.
Well, the whole issue with Santos and then the Morgan Gibbs White situation where he signed with Tottenham and then having to retract that whole thing and then having to make a public statement to the fans. It was handled poorly. Right. And it was unfortunate, but to go from playing in European football to potentially being relegated within 1 year is it's a come back to earth moment that they probably weren't expecting.
Yeah. I'm looking at West Ham's next 2 games. They play at home against Man United, Tuesday. Which again, we kind of talked about that being the 5th game, potentially getting that guy his haircut. But then they go away and they go play Burton in the FA Cup. Now, they'll play on Tuesday against Man United, February 10th. And then they'll play on Saturday in the FA Cup. I think West Ham is going to go full strength against Man United. I don't think they care about the FA Cup. I really don't think
any result to keep them in.
Yeah. So they're going to go full strength. They're not going to rest anybody. If it would be different if like maybe they were safe in the Premier League and they could risk the loss to Man United to, rest some guys and go farther in the FA Cup. But I think right now their only worry is survival. So they're probably going to be more than willing to rotate their time. And they should. The backups at West Ham should be able to beat a Burton, but we never know with the FA Cup, right? Anybody can win on any night. And I don't think West Ham's worried about that. They're more worried about getting points. So I think a draw against Man United in West Ham's next game is going to feel like a win for them. And unfortunately for Man United, a draw is going to feel like a loss.
Yeah,
it really will.
The last 3 games that put Ruben in the hot seat were West Ham and the final one being Leeds, right? Three straight 1-1 draws that put us in a situation where we weren't gaining the points. It was 1-1 against Wolves, 1-1 against West Ham, and then 1-1 against Leeds. So dropping points to 3 of the bottom 5 teams put us in that situation. So if I flip it to now, we're riding in high as a United team. Yeah, I think as a group, they would look at that as a loss. So it's a big game. It's a big game on Tuesday. And then you flip around, right? You both have the same amount of rest going into that game. It's surely anybody's. They're a team that could show up at any time. So they're not a team that I feel as though is
they're not there's no easy wins. Like nobody's an easy win.
No.
Yeah. And in West Ham, honestly, they're on a out of their last 5 games, they're 4-1 right now. They're only lost to 3-2 to Chelsea. So they're in great form right now. They're honestly a team that I probably wouldn't want to play West Ham right now because they're trying to survive. So they're going to be playing a little bit different than a team that's trying to make Final Four or top 4.
And you got to think about too the repercussions of getting relegated. You have pretty much the majority of your starting 11 plus a lot on the bench leaving. It's a mass exodus. Right. There's a lot of repercussions to not only dropping financially, but all of the players that you might leave and might move. So you're fighting truly for the life of your brand and the life of your club. So
that, and you're fighting for the lunch lady's job because they got to make cuts somewhere, and it's always those kind of people that are getting cut first. So Moving on from that, we've got Fulham versus Everton. Everton getting the 2-1 win. Both teams are currently sitting at top of the table. Everton 8th with 37 points, and then Fulham with 34 points, sitting at 10th. So, I mean, middle of the table kind of game.
Yeah.
Nothing too
2 own
crazy about it.
goals. Very,
Yeah.
very,
Yeah,
very,
own goal
very,
got the man of the match today.
yeah.
So, but
Mikalenko and Brett
nothing
Leno, yeah.
really crazy for the. I don't really have much to
No.
say about this one. It's one of those where it's just kind of like, yeah, it's a game. It happened. Even as like a semi Everton supporter, I am liking that they are undefeated in the last 5 games. I think they've got 2 wins, 3 draws. With one of those, no, they're out of the cups, I think. So Everton being, in the form that they're in, fine. Fulham, I'm pretty sure that they're in decent form right now. Actually, no, they're not. They're 2 wins and 3.
They would have been in really good form if they were able to put away a result against United, but
Yep.
things happen. I think they're a very exciting team with the money that they're spending. Bringing in that left winger Kevin from Galatasaray, and then or it might have been Shakhtar Donetsk, and then also a big splash on Oscar Bob from Man City. So they're a middle of the road potential team that has really seen the last few years of the willingness to spend money. So we'll see within the next few years how their potential could grow. So
yeah, with Fulham also trying to get Ricardo Pepe right now, that deal falling through. I mean, I'm not too upset honestly about that deal falling through. I had been seeing some things, whatever. We had talked off camera like a couple days ago about, Ricardo Pepe's not even the main starter at PSV, and we have a World Cup here in the next couple of months. And would you rather have a player fighting for game time in the Premier League where he's not going to get a lot of chances, he's probably not going to get as many touches as he does, or consistently playing, consistently getting touches, scoring goals in the Eredivisie right before a World Cup? And
agreed.
I know everyone wants to chase the bag. They all want to go make the most money. Everybody wants to play in the Premier League. It is the best. I mean, La Liga, Bundesliga, those are the best leagues in the world, especially when you play for those, I call them Power 4 conference leagues, but the smaller leagues in Europe, they're still good leagues. But when you've got a World Cup coming, you've got to have minutes. And if you're not playing, if you're not main starter, don't know. I think this move would be great in the summer.
I think when you have more time.
Yeah, this move would be great. You get a summer preseason. I always worry about January and December, January, and February transfers because you're coming in mid-season. Most everybody's already knows each other, and you're either joining a team that's flying high or you're joining a team that's struggling. And Fulham's kind of doing both right now, so we'll see kind of how that goes. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I really wouldn't want to go against and try and fight for minutes against Raul Jimenez. I don't know what it is about him. He's just as inconsistent as Fulham's been. He's been a nice little bright spot for them throughout the whole year, and then in general throughout his time at Wolves and then now at Fulham. He is consistent, and then being put in a situation where you are younger, injuries do occur often in Pepe's career. I wouldn't want to be put in the situation where I'm having to fight minutes against a proven bona fide striker. The team that is on the cusp of maybe potentially playing European football, and when push comes to shove, a trusted 9 who will bag goals will get those minutes over someone who needs to prove themselves. So
yeah, exactly.
Today, this will be a better situation for all.
Yep. I hope that they can figure something out in the summer. And also PSV said they didn't really have a replacement for him, and they, with it being so late, and it'd be different if this happened maybe in the first week of the transfer window and PSV had plenty of time to find a replacement or, get a loan in or something. But with it being so late, it was just PSV was like, we're not gonna be able to find a replacement. This is gonna hurt us more than help us, even with the money. And they're fighting for a title. So I mean, he will have another chance of potentially, having a double. They're currently still in the cup and they're currently still like head of the table by I think like 15 points or something. Like they're dominating. So but I mean, again, I hope this move can happen later in the future, but I think this was the right thing for it not to happen right now. So moving on now, we got Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Chelsea. 3-1 win for Chelsea in this one. Obviously,
Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah. Palmer getting a hat trick with 2 penalties, and then they scored again, all in the first half, and all actually his 35th and 38th goal right next to each other.
I got a fun stat for you. He is the only player in Premier League history to score 3 separate first half hat tricks.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What do you think about the rumors with him going to Manchester United?
I'd love it, but to think about where he would potentially fit in that
Yeah.
United squad, I don't know where. And Buemo's
So,
been in
well,
such
someone would
great
have to
form.
leave. Someone would have to
Someone would
leave.
have to leave. And with Cunha coming in and Buemo coming in, you don't want to push Bruno Fernandes. He's too important in the attacking half. You don't want to push him back to the 6 like Ruben was. So with Casemiro leaving in the summer, you could have Kobe, but the midfield group is for someone who you'd potentially spend over 100 million euros easily for a
Yeah.
play like Cole Palmer. It's not the right move for anybody.
Yeah.
So
And he's not playing a 6.
no, he's not playing the 6. He can't play. You don't want the kid to play the 6. So
No.
I think he's in a great spot right now. Chelsea's been in really good form. They have a strong midfield group in Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, and Caicedo. They always concede every time, which kills my
Yeah.
FPL. But they put away games. So
Yeah.
for a team that has not been consistent for a while, good for Ray. I have been trying to say his name correctly. Ray Sonor.
Mhm.
Obviously the coach they brought in from Strasbourg internally. So good for him. He's put forth some good results, and they're in a top 3 battles just as much as we are right now. So
Yeah, they're only behind Man United by 1 point currently, and they are actually on a 4-game win streak as well right now.
Mm-hmm.
So their next game is against Leeds, and I want to say it's at Leeds. Yeah, no, it's at home.
Yeah.
So they've got another game
Stanford.
there. So I mean, you're going to be, if you're a Manchester United fan, and really if you're honestly an Aston Villa and Man City fan, you should be checking on Chelsea's results because right now, I mean, Arsenal, again, they are ahead by 9 points. Man City still has to play tomorrow, but if you're one of those teams trying to get into that top 4, these are the teams you need to be watching. So,
agreed.
And again, Wolves just look terrible. They are probably the worst team that has ever gone through the Premier League, even worse than
outside. You think it's
Derby
worse than
County?
Derby? Yeah,
I think so. I mean, which is funny because if you look at Wolves' roster, like you actually look at their squad, there is quality there, but it's just. It's just not like I look at their group and it's just.
It's been some unfortunate. It's been a lot. One of the biggest things I hear from gripes from Wolves fans is that they don't replenish when they sell off. I mean, if you look back to some of the players they've had in the past, Diego Costa, Diego Jota, João Moutinho, Pedro Neto, Rui Patricio, right? Matt Doherty, who's there again. They've had quality. The issue is when they receive those transfer fees, they don't replenish it, and they bring in less name, less known, less polished players, and then try and do the whole process over again. And this development takes too much time. And for a team fighting relegation year after year, they need quality now. They made a great signing, I thought, in John Arias, and I really do still rate him well from Fluminense. He had a great Club World Cup, but he's hardly breaking into the starting 11, right? Mane, who's one of their 9s, has had a great little last few months, scored against United. So they have pieces, but it's not been clicking. It's a group that is not polished enough and is in a situation where a goal each game, it's a positive note, let alone a result. Scoring goals those are wins. So
I think with the purchases that they're making as well, they already kind of know they're going to be in the championship next year. So they're looking for getting those younger guys coming in so they can develop them, let them play a couple, like maybe a year or two in the championship and go right back up. I think they have the squad that when they do go down,
they'll be back.
They will be right back up within a year. If it's 2 years, I think that's a failure because I really do think they're good enough to be they are good enough to be a Premier League team. It just didn't work out for them this year, but they do have the quality to come right back up if they can retain a lot of their main guys and young talent. So all right, last one for today. We have Newcastle loses to Brentford 2-3 at home. So really kind of surprising result there. There was a late goal in the 85th minute. 2 penalties in this game as well. Brentford in 7th right now with 39 points, actually tied with Liverpool in points, but Liverpool is a game ahead. And then Newcastle currently sitting at 12th with 33 points. So what do you have to say about this game?
For me personally, I'd say Eddie Howe's in the hot seat. I think he's one of for how far they've fallen the past year. It's alarming if I'm a Newcastle fan, right? You not only lose in the Tyne-Moore derby on an own goal to your bitter rival, right? You don't replenish in your 9 after Isak with that whole scandal and saga going on. I think Voltamad's a quality striker, but they haven't replenished well. Outside of bringing in Valtamont late, they were trying everything in the book, putting Jacob Murphy as the 9, Anthony Gordon, Harvey Barnes, even Yoan Wissa for a while, right? But they've been trying to put a bandage on a bullet hole, and unfortunately, they've just been going back to good old Barclays 2010s Newcastle. I think the issue is with how much money they've spent on this squad, this needs to be fighting for Europe.
Yeah.
Right.
At least finishing in Europa. Like you've got to be in there somewhere. Like I mean, it's going to be tough no matter who you are to break into the top 4 of the Premier League. It's just that it's so stacked with all those teams. So it's always gonna be tough. But to be where they are is really, really low.
And to go from competing in the Champions League to now being in 12th, yes, I think there's a lot of alarming bells going off. I will say
very similar to Tottenham.
Agreed.
Very similar to Tottenham.
I give a lot of credit to Brentford. Brand new coach, brand new system, losing Mbeumo and Wissa and coming in, and they've been fairly consistent, right? I like Igor Thiago a lot. I think they have a group of players that have bought into the type of system that their coach has brought in, and they play. I think it's Keith Andrews. I think they play a very attractive brand of soccer. I enjoy watching them play. So to go in on a new coach with bringing in new talent, I give them a lot of credit for how consistent they've been.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see Jordan Henderson back in the Premier League with Brentford and like kind of how he helps manage that midfield as well. Like even though he did his time in Saudi Arabia or whatever and like did that, he came back and he didn't go to like a big top 4 like team or whatever. He went to Brentford because I think he sees that this is a group that I'm actually going to still be a huge part of, and also I'm going to help develop and grow the midfield from the younger guys that are around me. So it's cool seeing him back in the Premier League because I watched him whenever he was at Sunderland. Now he was at Liverpool for as long as he did. So it's really cool to see him back and playing. I forgot about his move this summer. Like I completely had forgotten about that until I saw him the other day, and I was like, oh shoot, he's still playing. Like I thought he was still in Saudi Arabia, but I guess he went back. So
I will say another one that I've been very appreciative of is Granit Xhaka. I think Xhaka's had a great archetype. Yep, coming in brand new to Sunderland, and he's really taken over the captaincy role well. He has the supporters are backing him. He has his coach backing him. I love Regis Liberty. I think he's a great coach, right? But coming in as a brand new player, breaking in and being the captain, it's great for him. I think he's a good, really quality player. And then to come back from Leverkusen off the high that they had 2 years ago to coming into this squad and then being top 10 is very, very impressive for a team that many thought would be in a relegation battle. So props to him.
Yeah, and you could even tell, like, because I watch more of the Bundesliga now, like you could definitely tell Leverkusen missed him this beginning of this year and last season as well, not having him. Or they had him last year, but like you could definitely tell, like right now they miss his presence.
He's just calm, right? As that CDM, he's calm. He looks to switch. He's a pivot player. It's not anything crazy, and so that simplicity really helps out in the fast, quick game that is modern day soccer. So,
yeah, absolutely. So obviously, those were the last games from today and yesterday. So there's still 2 more on week 25 for them to play. We have Brighton versus Crystal Palace and Liverpool versus Man City. Let's just pick one of these to kind of talk about. I think we already know which one that's going to be. Let's talk about Brighton and Crystal Palace. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about Liverpool versus Man City. This is at Liverpool. Both of these teams currently sitting at Man City currently sitting at 2nd. And then Liverpool currently sitting at 6th, with Man City really being the only team that people are talking about with a chance to actually give Arsenal a little bit of pressure at top of the Premier League. So Man City, again, 47 points with 24 games. Liverpool with 39. It's 6th. So let's kind of talk about predictions here. Let's talk about what we think who's going to win. We can talk about scores and who do we think is going to be the key player that's going to help them win this game. So you go ahead and just tell me who you think is going to win, and then we'll go through each step. So who do you think is going to win tomorrow?
I got 2-2, man. I got to draw.
Okay.
I got to draw. This game to me screams like a draw. So I think both these guys in Arne Slot and Pep Guardiola, they're masterful mathematical technicians and tacticians.
Yeah.
So in a situation where both are really needing 3 points, no matter if it's a road game for City, to keep it manageable and reasonable, right? You can't lose this game. I think they're going to take calculated risks, but at the end of the day, I see a 2-2 game.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely probably say draw, because if actually I'm looking at their last 5 games, they are both 1-3-1 1 win, 3 draws, and 1 loss. So they're both in kind of the same kind of form. If the Premier League right now was based just on the last 5 games, it has Liverpool at 10th with 9 goals scored, 7 against, and Man City's at 6-6. So again, with the same record, 1-3-1, but it has them over 12. So it's a cool little thing that FOTMob allows you to do there. So Man City technically on goals and goals against on worse form than Liverpool. If I'm a betting man, right, I'm gonna actually go for Liverpool to win this one. But I think, and we're not gonna talk about scores yet, but I would put Liverpool to win this just because they're at home, so they're gonna have that extra little bit of, they're both pushing for 3 points. They both want to win the game, so it's gonna be very open. But I also think that Liverpool just being at home is going to give them that advantage. I don't think it's going to be a very big scoring game, but I think it's definitely going to go Liverpool's way. And if I'm looking at the betting right now, it actually has Liverpool as a 43% chance to win, 35% for Man City, and then 22% for a draw. So that's where we go there. Since you started with the score prediction, with the win or loss or draw prediction, I'm going to go ahead and go with the score. I think it is going to be a 2-1 win for Liverpool. What about you?
I mean, I this game screams draw, so I'll still say 2-2. But 2-2. I think the impactful players for me, standing out for both sides, I want to do 1-1. I think Florian Wirtz has had a great year. I think it's criminal. He had a rough start, right? You always like to say the 007, right? First 7 games in the Prem really set someone apart, right? But he does so much off the stat sheet that is so impactful in a game as a 10. The 10's not always putting away the chances or creating it off that last initial through pass for an assist, right? But the things that he does off the ball, the work that goes unnoticed, I think tomorrow going in that game, setting up Ekitike, setting up their wings, whoever it might be, right? I think he'll put them in the best position to get 3 points out of that game.
Yeah. Well, since I'm pushing for, Liverpool to win the game here, I'm actually going to go for Ekitike as my main guy with 10 goals and 2 assists right now in the Premier League and 15 starts. Just the way that, again, him and Wirtz have been working so well together, both coming from the Bundesliga, by the way. So shout out the Bundesliga there. I just think that the way that they've been working together, I could have picked Wirtz as well, but I just think with his goal contributions this year, with 10 goals in the Premier League right now, I just say I think he's going to be the main key guy for this game for Liverpool for sure.
Agreed. So if I'm looking at City real fast, I'd like to say you could always say Haaland is the most impactful player on the field, and with the amount of
20 goals,
with the amount of touches he has on the ball to the goals he puts away, the ratio is ridiculous, right? I think Phil Foden really needs to step up tomorrow and put them in the best position possible. So I think if Foden and Bernardo Silva step up in that situation where they put away some quality finishes and Pep being Pep creates a good, strong back line, I think they could get at least a result. They need at least a point to keep it mathematically reasonable for them to at least fight for a title. So
who's quietly been one of the better players for Man City this year, and I feel like a lot of people kind of didn't see this coming. I had him in my fantasy team last year as a backup striker to Haaland. It's Semenyo, the left wing that's playing. He was at Bournemouth last year. I had him as one of my strikers. He's currently sitting at 12 goals, 3 assists for them this year. So I think he's kind of like that secret weapon that's currently, could be that guy.
I'm about to say he made the mid-year move over from Bournemouth. So I was really worried for him, right, to go from being the main guy at Bournemouth to making that January move over. He's had good form for the first few games he's been there, and he's really broken into a team that I did not feel as though he would.
Yeah, he's got 4 goals in 6 games for Man City already. 12 on the total on the year, but 4 and 6 that's no slouch. That's a pretty darn good result, and that's especially with a team where you don't want to be so reliant on one guy like Haaland, who, I mean, granted, 20 goals, 5 assists.
But him and Foden have been struggling in the past few weeks, as he is my captain on FPL, and I've been struggling along with him. So.
Yeah, his last goal came against Galatasaray in the Champions League, but his last goal in the Premier League was against Brighton in a 1-1 draw. So it's been a while. He did get an assist against Tottenham last go around on February 1st. So, I mean, I mean, his ratings are good. You know, if I'm looking
Yeah.
at his current ratings on his last games, he's still in that 7.4, 8.0, 7.9, 8.1. So what he's doing off the ball is definitely mattering, but it's just not. He's not as
It's the goal
clinical as he
contribution.
was, the last couple of years where it almost seemed like he was scoring 1 or 2 a game. So
It's tomorrow. I think for the average like soccer fan, maybe tuning out. Oh, this is I've heard this game, right? City, Liverpool,
Mhm.
It's not going to be the most attractive soccer game where the most exciting you've ever seen. It's
Yeah.
going to be grimy, grinding out for a result. It's going to
Yeah.
be taking very, very calculated risks and then being very, very safe in the possession. So it's pretty much going to be a game of chess, and whoever blinks first, it's going to be in that type of situation where they put away a clinical finish and then maybe a team sits. So it's not going to be very attractive, but at the end of the day, soccer doesn't need to be attractive, just needs to be effective. So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
We don't have to talk about it too much, but we could just real quick. Who do you think is going to win tomorrow? Brighton versus Crystal Palace.
Crystal's been a really, really tough form, especially after losing Mark Gahey to City. They have not done a good job at replenishing. Losing Eze, losing Olise, losing Gahey now.
Mm-hmm.
Brighton's a tough team too, man. I'm gonna go 1-1. I'm gonna go 1-1. I think Crystal somehow pulls out a quality finish. They brought in Brennan Johnson. Mateta's probably on his way out, but
Yeah.
with the Munoz hopefully coming back into the starting group, I think it's tough when you're playing for a coach who's already knowing that he's leaving, and Glasnow who's made it known that he's gone after this year.
Yeah.
And I think they pull out a goal. I think it's a 1-1 game. I think Brighton's always struggling for form. Purely mid-table team in the Prem. So I'll go 1-1.
I'm going to say a 1-0 late minute goal by Chris Richards. Off a corner kick.
Love it.
Would love to see it. Twitter would definitely go crazy. He's so loved there. I'm so glad he's playing there and he's consistently, one of the main guys.
He's healthy.
Yeah, when he's healthy. Yeah,
that's the biggest thing. He's just been healthy for such a. I'm knocking on somebody. He's been healthy for such a long time, right? Mm-hmm. So there hasn't been the major injury scares that we've seen in the past. So
yeah, got to keep him healthy for this upcoming World Cup for sure. So because USA is definitely going to need him. So
yep.
But anyway, Luke, thank you so much for doing this. We're gonna go ahead and cut it off here. So that was the Week 25 roundup. We'll have to make sure we do this every week just from the rest of the season. Wish we would have started the Week 1, but you know what? We're starting Week 25.
Better late than never,
we'll just go from there. So we'll do this again next week when it comes to Week 26. So see you, Luke.
See you, brother.
This podcast is brought to you by LP Digital. LP Digital is a locally owned photography and videography business in Columbia, Missouri. It was started by University of Missouri journalism students Isaiah Lopez and Joseph Patton. Their mission is to bring local stories to life through stunning high-quality visuals that fit any budget. Because at LP Digital, everyone deserves to see themselves smile. Whether it's capturing life's biggest moments or telling your unique story, they're here to make it happen. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook at LP Digital 2026 and send them a message to find the perfect price for you.